Okay, so you've heard that independent schools have interviews and you are worried that your child isn't, an extrovert, or that they're too much of an extrovert, they might give the wrong answers, or, that they need to really prepare very far ahead of time. In this video, I'm going to discuss when to start preparing for the independent school interviews and how to make sure that you're not starting too early or too late. So my name's Joycelyn Akufo. I'm the Managing Director of Geek School Tutoring. Welcome to the Geek School family. If you're new to our YouTube channel, please remember to like, comment, and importantly to subscribe and to turn on your notifications so that you will be informed by the mighty YouTube when the next video goes up. So let's get straight into it. So independent school interviews. There are two types of schools in terms of when they have the interviews. Some schools are increasingly, like many schools actually, are increasingly incorporating the interview with the exam day. So on the day that your child sits the exam, they'll be interviewed by a member of staff and so on. And other schools interview after the actual entrance exam, and traditionally an invitation for interview is a nod in the fact that your child has done well enough to be considered for an interview. Obviously, being invited for an interview doesn't guarantee an offer of a place, but then if you think of it, will a school invite a student who has clearly failed their entrance exam or performed poorly in their entrance exam for an interview? Probably not. So traditionally it's been a nod to the fact that, the child has done well enough. Now, I know that it can be daunting. If you don't know, we have two children who've gone through the 11 plus process. One's almost finishing, one is almost finishing sixth form, and the other one is, in secondary. So I understand how daunting it can be. And I think just the mere thought that their child is going to be interviewed in the minds of many parents means that, it's all systems go. Let's get prepared and over prepared and so on. First of all, the independent school interview is not like a job interview or anything of that nature. What the school is basically trying to ascertain is, your child's personality. Now, when a child sits the entrance exam, the maths paper will not give any indication about your child's personality. Creative writing might, if your child has got a quirky sense of humour and they're able to put that on paper, the creative writing paper will give a hint to that, but not all the teachers are going to read your child's creative writing. It would be down to the English department to do all of that. So that doesn't help. And so the interview is to get an understanding about your child's personality and to also see whether they're a good fit for the school. I've got two tuition centres, physical centres, and each of the centres really have their own atmosphere. Even though, they're both owned by Geek School, in other words, myself, and, I recruit a team, and, interestingly, the staff are very similar but different. Both centres have their own atmosphere. So if we're thinking about schools, I can imagine, you can imagine that every school has its own atmosphere. Maybe there's a particular type of child that excels there, that would do well there, and so on. So all of these considerations must be put into place when shortlisting and selecting students to offer a place to. Otherwise, you could have an instance where a child who really clearly wouldn't do well in a particular environment is offered a place and is just miserable, and possibly leaves the school and so on. Obviously, schools want to make sure that students stay the course, stay all the way until the end of sixth form and so on. And so it's really important that they not only can look at the academics of the child from their entrance exams, but to also get to know them a bit more. And, the interview is also another opportunity for your child to shine. If your child has a natural gifting in a particular area, sometimes the application forms don't even allow that to come through, So I always encourage students when we are preparing them for independent school interviews to get ready to offer some information. If you're asked about your hobbies, for instance, and, you like pottery, and there's a particular type of pottery that you like, trust me to choose pottery when I'm not even remotely into pottery at all. So I'm now trying to think of something technical to say, but basically it's an opportunity to shine. If your child has, a real love of a particular instrument, but maybe it's not a traditional instrument, but they're just impassioned about something, it gives the school a bit more of an understanding about them. I tutored a student who was with us for 2 years, and I had no idea that she was into gymnastics. She was really into drama and performing arts because she was so quiet, absolutely quiet. And then it only came out when we were prepping for the interview, and then all of this information was coming through, and she was just shining when she was explaining it. So I think the interview is a really good place for students to just show who they are, show their skills, their interests, their talents and so on. And it really does go a long way to helping them, get that offer that we all want to see them get. So, it's really, really fantastic. So when do you start preparing for the independent school interviews? Not at the same time as preparing for the exam. So obviously, what's really paramount is that your child actually passes the test, the entrance tests. Without that, there's literally no hope. And I don't believe that more than a month of independent school interview prep is necessary. If you think about it, effectively, during the time that parents start thinking about prepping for the interview, your child is still doing papers and, touching up on any weak areas before their exams and so on. I wouldn't deprioritize that over prepping for the interview. The interview is a conversation between student and one of the teachers. Some schools have senior management interviewing, like head teachers, deputies, and so on, heads of department. And others will have other staff that are not in the senior leadership, especially if they have lots and lots of interviews to undertake. So really what you want to work on are the obvious and basic things: making eye contact, thinking before you answer, but not overthinking, not lying. So I always give the example of Greek mythology, not pretending to be some sort of a Greek mythology buff when you have no idea about Greek mythology. What happens if you're being interviewed by the classics teacher? I just say, well, that will literally expose you, because, if they then start asking about who your favorite, what your favorite stories are and so on, where would you start? Basically, you can't make these things up. So it's really important to work on that. Obviously, I have the independent school interview course, which is video based. It goes through literally every type of scenario of interview, whether it's online or in person, what to wear, what not to wear, how to prepare, how to get questions, and so on. And also it comes with, you know, an ebook, a PDF of all the questions in a decade's worth of preparing children for independent school exams and independent school interviews. Every time a student literally goes for an interview, where possible, I, you know, try and speak to them, of course, to find out how it went. But while it's still fresh in their mind, it's lovely to know what they were asked at the interview and so on. So you may consider that. And, you know, even for our in-person students, we've stopped doing the workshops since the year before COVID, actually, because we just couldn't get the dates right for all our students. So I actually created the independent school interview course for our students, because I knew that so many of them would miss the workshop, which you know, would really help them be best placed to give a really good interview and to enjoy it and learn how to, you know, be calm and, you know, just enjoy it basically. And so I created it, and then I put it out there for the public, as I usually do eventually, because I like to share and so on. So that's what our students use, and we have amazing independent school offers all the time, so it really helps. So I think that's everything really. So if you're watching this video and it's not like October, November, December or January, and you are desperately seeking interview prep, it's too soon, basically. You know, I wouldn't start more than a month ahead. What you don't want to do is to have your child memorizing responses and so on. It just won't come across very well. Let them be themselves, their best selves, and, you know, so that they're, if they look like they've been prepped, it's going to show. It really will. And often, because of the pressure of the whole interview and, you know, not wanting to get anything wrong, the last thing you want is for your child to have memorized something to say and then say it at the wrong time to the wrong answer. What's your favorite hobby at school? My teachers would say that I'm a very good student. Anyway, so that's the end of the video for today. You know, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for watching. Do you need help with your writing? Don't forget to check out Geek School Tutoring's online writing courses at www.the11plusessay.co.uk. We have everything from creative writing courses to English comprehension courses and English grammar and punctuation courses, just to name a few. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and to switch on your notifications so you know when our next video goes up. Bye.